Jack, very good to see you today, and very grateful for you coming on and sharing a wee bit about this new initiative with the Glasgow City Mission. But I was wondering, clearly we've all been affected by COVID-19 and the pandemic and all the restrictions around that. How has it affected Glasgow City Mission in the first place?
Firstly, thank you for the invite. Delighted to be here chatting to you. Initially, Derek, we shut down, as the whole country did, at the end of March, and it was very strange because we were all about community and we're all about folks coming to us. So we had to think on our feet. Initially, we started by pulling together a big database, and we ended up with 223 people that we were calling at least weekly, some daily. Dependent upon their needs and their situations, because I think everybody's aware how mental health has been affected. That's been one of the real bad things about this, and I think maybe a lot of folk who didn't think they had mental health issues suddenly found they did. So it was about keeping in contact, and that meant that we bought mobile phones for folk and things like that. Then we get into this marvellous world of Zoom, and we started developing things like a Facebook Live. So our church, which is Friday afternoon, the gathering, became Facebook Live. We did Bible studies in Zoom. We did cookery in Zoom. We did lots and lots of stuff just to keep in touch with folk. We were also concerned about what we could supply. So we did 3 deliveries of food, bags of food. We did that for a long time. Interestingly, as lockdown eased, and I think this is the kind of message I would like to get across, is we adapted as things changed. So as lockdown eased and people were able to go out, we were then encouraging them to go out, obviously to social distance, but just get out and see life and the world beyond your 4 walls. So we came to deal with farm foods, and we were supplying, instead of supplying food, we then were supplying preloaded cards with £10 on them. One of the great things that I didn't know about farm foods prior to this was they don't sell cigarettes and alcohol. So it takes away an awful lot of temptation. Yeah. And it also meant that people were actually buying food. So we did that. We now are in a situation, if you fast forward to the beginning of September, where our building is partially opened. We are running slots for advocacy. So people can book to come in. I think we take 4 an hour throughout the day. But, you know, doing all the cleaning and social distancing and all that sort of stuff. So we are now in the situation where we're starting to see life about the building. Alongside these sort of things, we ran a very successful family holiday club in Govan. We have a child and family centre in Govan, and they're just next door to Elder Park. Yeah. And we ran for 4 full weeks, and that was fantastic. We had, I think it was 180 kids and 70 adults of that ilk, and they were doing hopscotch and frisbees and, you know, all these old-fashioned things that have come back into vogue. But it was more the fact that we're seeing each other, and the kids were allowed to congregate, the adults weren't. But it meant that the adults could sit apart, but, you know, blether to each other, while the kids could run about the afternoon park. So that was great. Another of main things we did was one of the very hardest hit group of people, as you know, and as anyone that watches the news knows, were the asylum seekers who were housed in hotels. So we put up adverts in these hotels, and we've been running for weeks now activities, including a lunch outdoors at Glasgow Green. So it's all been about what can we do and where can we do it, and do as much as we can. So that doesn't cover everything we've done, but I think if you think, you know, from the beginning it was just trying to get in touch with people by telephone through everything we've been involved in. We're now outdoors, and in fact we're looking at how that will continue. And it may be that one of the things we have to look at is proper jacket and proper pair of boots for these folks who are in the asylum seekers. I mean, we concentrated on them for a bit, but we're way more than that, and we are very conscious that we need to be fully engaged with the Indigenous Scots and all the rest that, you know, are guests, or were our guests up until lockdown. Yeah. So hopefully that gives you a little flavour. Are there any?
No, that's really helpful, and I think part of what you're finding, as well as ourselves, is this sense of creativity about how to respond to everything, and finding new paths and new ways to do this. And maybe in some sense as well, that there's a new kind of relationship building in this that you want to continue on into the future as well. There's a brightness about some of these activities you've been saying that are hopeful for the future as well, and begin to open up new things. It's really quite exciting for it, I think, as well, isn't there?
Yes, and I also think the fact that we have now discovered this technology and this way to talk to each other, it gives us an extra tool when dealing with guests who maybe are laid up for a wee while and can't get over the door, you know, through illness or whatever. So suddenly, you know, this sort of thing's normal, and that's great.
Yeah, and you find that. I mean, you mentioned earlier that you were giving out mobile phones, but do you find that most people will have access to a phone that can use in some way into this technology? Is that more or less most would be able to access this?
Yes, the vast majority can on some level.
Yeah.
There are folks, and you may find this with your church, and I find it with the church I'm involved in. You have the folks who can do the full live stream thing, can watch everything. Then you have other people who can't, so you try and set up a telephone ministry to them, and that sort of thing. So there are various avenues to get to folks, but the vast majority of people, you know, this is fine. And you know, I'm a technophobe, and I'm actually surprised at what I can do now.
I think we're all surprised ourselves.
Yes.
You've got a great initiative coming up called Heart for Glasgow, which involves walking around some of the parks. You want to just share a wee bit on that, and maybe go into some of the timings of these, the sort of two different strands to it, aren't there?
There are. What we're looking at. So it all started with the germ of an idea, which was instead of doing a virtual fundraiser, do an actual fundraiser out on the streets. And then the thought was around Glasgow, and then the thought was, well, actually, a very good volunteer of ours came to me and he said, I've looked at 9 parks and they make almost a heart shape. And we said, oh.
Let me just show that to those who are maybe.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's so. Our designer took our raggedy Google map thing and turned it into a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
But the parks just gave us stopping points, if you want. So what we're looking to do is, and we now have a form on the website where you can register. They're looking to either walk, jog, or run. And their idea is that we will complete the heart. So that will be the virtual relay. We're still in discussion about exactly how that happens. It might be technology, it might not be. But we're going to do that, and we are going to complete that route. We will need a certain amount of people to do that. But we have 2 parks in where we're going to look at doing 5K runs. And they are Pollock and Tollcross. These 2 parks have park runs in them. I believe Pollock's is huge. So they already have a course. So we've been in touch with both of the parkrun organisations, and they both said, feel free to use our course, here it is.
Excellent, good.
So it's not as if we're just going to turn up in the day and say, let's hope for 5K and wander around. So what we're looking to do is put together the relay and make sure that it's completed, and then have some 5Ks in those two parks.
Yeah. And is that on the Sunday mornings?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
We plan to start at 10, and I know you said that you might want to look at maybe doing something around about 11:30.
Yeah.
And I think that would be very, very possible.
Excellent. Good. What's in my head? We might get one or two from our congregation to be involved in it in some way and live stream into our Zoom meeting from running it or something like that in some sort of way. Might even make it myself. I don't know. We'll have a chat.
No, we'd be very happy to facilitate that, because what we see, if we get a lot of interest from the park runs, then clearly they'll be staggered.
Yeah.
So, but let's say we only get interest from you guys for Pollock, although I know we've already got some interest. But we could easily put you guys, to start at 11:15 to do the 5K, or at 11 or 11:15. That's not a problem. So very happy to work with you in that day.
Yeah, excellent. That's good. And in terms of the sponsorship money, is there like a page that we go to sponsor, or is it individuals that set that up? What's the mechanism?
It will be. We're going to give more information in the next week or so, but we'll be recommending individuals set up a Just Giving page, which we find a very easy platform. Yeah. If they are old school and they want a bit of paper, we've got it. Not a problem.
We can set up something within our own admin systems and onto our websites that can be a fundraising page for any that within the church that are doing it. So we can set that up and send it direct to you through that as well. But that sounds really exciting, and I know it's going to be a lovely dry day for that day as well.
Yes.
It's always Glasgow.
As is the 24th of October when my son gets married. So there's 7 dates coming forward that people can.
Yeah. We're getting a late summer, aren't we, over the next period? Jack, thank you so much for sharing in this, and I look forward to some further chats and working out how we can help you and support you through this period. But thank you so much for coming on, and all the best. And I'll see you soon.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you, Derek.